Greetings family, welcome to Tony's Barbershop in Simpsons Market, and this is where we interview individuals doing great things in the community. In the hot seat we have the great man Ken Hines, who was a community activist, also involved in the Stop and Search campaign. And those of us who hear of Ken, you know, he's been very active in the community. You know, someone who's been very much involved in terms of helping young people, but also helping young people to their rights, stop and search rights. And Ken will talk a little bit about that. But as we know, that it's a very sensitive time now because what's happening in Tottenham. And you know, this is where we have people like Ken and other individuals coming in now and see where we can move forward. But first Ken, we need to welcome you, my brother.
Thank you very much, Brother Dougie, for inviting me and giving this platform just to reach out to a wider audience to let them know what this fight is about, and how they can get involved and engage. And you know, it's not about sitting down and this in your armchair and saying I've been a supporter from there. We need you to get up and to help, to come to some of these meetings, to come with your ideas. We need all these things, but we'll go through that.
That's right. But just to recap, what's your thoughts on Tottenham right now?
Okay, my thought on Tottenham is that, you know, whether we like it or not, they have delivered a strong message to central government to saying that the status quo will can no longer remain the same. As I said, I'm not condoning the looting. I'm definitely not condoning the fire burning of people's homes and people's livelihood. And I think that's disgraceful. And I said that must not be allowed to happen again. I honestly believe that that's not done by primarily our community. I believe this activist has come in and taken advantage of the situation because we don't know fire on the scale of what we've seen up and down the place, but people have just have joined on the back, coming on the bandwagon, and they've really taken it to another level. It could even be a third hand. I'm not saying who that third hand could be, but it could be anybody, because you know what it's like. You know, the police have been under pressure. They have been talking about cutbacks. They have been thinking, well, what could possibly happen? And look what's fallen into their lap, partly because of their creation too.
But also, Ken, that it's very important that we look at the root of what took place, because what's happening was a sidetracking and blaming A, B, C, and D. But when we look at the root of it, you know, and it's very important that, like you said, we need to look at the real root, what took place.
Well, can I say this? First of all, I'm a member of the Community Reference Group. Now that was set up by the IPCC to scrutinise the IPCC investigation into Mark Duggan's death. Now, as I said, because there's been a lot of disinformation coming from the establishment primarily, because they're the one that's got the voice into the various media, and they're the one that prints what they want to print. And I think it's so important that what happens in this situation, that there's not another whitewash, that you know, that we are like, again, respected members in the community, and if we're there to hear a close hand to see what's happening, we've got to make sure the right thing does go down. Now, can I say, Brother Dougie?
Yes, my brother.
I think it's important to say, let's go back to the very start, because that is the shooting of Mark. You know, is untimely death. Now, I can say this much to you, as a person who has gone on a number of police operations as a community observer, watching how the police tackle who they perceive of people travelling with guns in their vehicles. Now, they call it a hard stop. Now, I've never seen a police hard stop where the so-called targeted person is allowed to walk away from the police or the stop.
Oh, I see your point.
Okay. Now, what they do is that they pull you out on your face on the ground. They put first of all they put the weapons in your face. Right, you're so shocked by the ferocity of the foul language that's being used, and they grab you and they pull you down onto the ground. You know, with the gun still pointing in your head. They put their knee into your back and they handcuff you. Before you are allowed to, they pull you up on your feet, and then they ask you various bits and pieces. You know, once they've got you in that position. Now again, I find it very difficult to think that Mark could have been in any other way than being that way, okay? And so there's no way that he could have even pull a gun on the police in that circumstance, because you're too frightened. And not only that, why are you going to take a potential, even if you did have a gun, just as an assumption, even worst way, if you did have a gun, why would you put yourself in jeopardy? Because if you might get 4 years maximum for having a gun, to give yourself 30 years if you're tempted to use that on a police officer. You know, he's a family man, and that's been proven time and time again. He's a well thought of man, because I've gone to various events that's been held in his honour, and I've seen nothing but love and nothing about young people and people from all different cultures come together to talk good about the young man. Okay, so what my thing is that I just do not like the disinformation that's going around to make it sound, first of all, that there was a shootout, and this was, and what happened was, this was done by the IPCC, who rubber stamped it in initial stages, and it took them a week, it was last Friday, this Friday is gone, to retract that they may have given the media misinformation, which the media went out and print without actually getting another source to collaborate what's been said. Now that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's irresponsible journalism, which added to the tension in the community. Now, my mum brought me out to say, son, if you don't understand something, then you know what? It doesn't make sense to you, it's nonsense. Okay? Now, when this happened, the first thing I thought about, wow, you know, this doesn't sound right. And knowing the man as I did, I know that man wasn't that sort of man to have that death wish. Okay? So again, and then coming back into the community and hearing how vexed the people were, how upset the people, not just by his killing, but by the action of the police and the IPCC. First of all, like again, when a British soldier get killed in Afghanistan or Iraq, you always hear the telling, we're not going to release his name until the next of kin has been informed. Okay. So why in this case was his name firstly then announced without? I will tell you this much. To date, I don't believe his family has been formally told of Mark's death by the authorities. Do you hear what I'm saying? Formally. Yes, we all know it, and it's all been done now, but still, they've still not been afforded the courtesy of being told officially that this is what's happened.
Also, Brother Ken, that, you know, it's quite clear that the family went down to Tottenham police station to get some answers, and they was there for about 2-3 hours and no response.
Well, as I said, not only I'm a chairman of Stop and Search Monitoring Group. So what happens is they've got these things called goal meetings. Goal meeting is when the police bring you up and say, look, you are a community activist and well respected within the community. We would like to come to one of our meetings so we can give you an update of what's happening. So you have the police, you have people from the council, you have people from other faith groups. You have a wide body of people who come together to hear what's going on. Now, that meeting took place at 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Now, don't forget, I was at the gathering Friday evening at Mark's dad's house, where you had over 400 people who attended the event that was held there. Okay, and so therefore I picked up on the vibes that were coming down, coming from the people that attended. I picked up how angry some people were, and they were, maybe some of them were talking madness, but other people were talking good sense. You hear what I'm saying? And unfortunately, I agreed with the people that were there at the time about the march would be the best next step to highlight our disgust with what's gone down. Okay, and it was going to be a peaceful march led by the females, okay, led by the women, okay, and so therefore not to intimidate not only the residents but the police, to not make them feel like there's going to be something going on, warfare going on. So we thought that just off the face would be mothers. Yes, okay, and they're the one that came up with all the banners. They're the one that went down and did the march. Now with me now, I can quite clearly say this, because when I went to the meeting at 1 o'clock, I told the police, I said to the police in that meeting, you know what? I thought the family's upset for a number of reasons. First of all, no one is talking to them. No one's told them that Mark is dead. And when they did go down there after Mark's brother rang Simone and told Simone that she's got to come quick because he believes that Mark's been killed. When she got down to the place, to the Ferry Lane, she was sent to hospital. She was given the runaround. Okay, and then she still did the runaround and still come back. She was told the body had gone somewhere else. He's been moved to hospital. When it wasn't, it was under the tent. And when she did come back, she wasn't even allowed to see the body. Okay. Now, as I said beforehand, these things I explained to the police. There's insensitivity of the way they were doing things. But you know what the man said to me? I can never forget this. He said to me, you know what? He says, oh, it's no longer the police hand, it's in the hands of the IPCC. Passing the buck again. Nobody's standing up and taking responsibility for a serious situation.
That's right.
And then on top of all this, here it is. The top two people, the borough commander and the chief superintendent, who's the next of kin to the borough commander, they both were on holiday. Right? The borough commander was on her way onto a plane. Right? She could have been turning back at any stage that she wanted to. Okay, but no, he said, "Oh no, we don't want to blight her because this has been pre-planned for some time, right?" So, but the situation had caused for someone of seniority to be there to take care of a potential powder keg, okay, and like guy fall, and then honestly it was the spark, okay, and as I said, I told him about them. I even told him about the march that were planned, because I felt at the end of the day that they should be aware of the severity of the situation or the seriousness of the situation, because I've never heard of a family being bereaved the 2 days before and then having to come out to demonstrate to get answers outside the police station, which is just
that's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
And for the police,
totally slapping the face and kicking it. You're absolutely right.
And for the police not to take that serious, that is more. That's more a slap in your face again. It's to say, boy, your man, as far as we're concerned, he's banged to right. But we know nothing goes so in our community. Nothing appears as it is, because they can. There's lots of plants. There's lots of different things that they can do to make you see what they want you to see.
But also, Brother Ken, and you kind of bring to our attention that when it comes to actual riot, unusual riot, uprising, right, that the police allow certain things to happen, right? And I think you were saying that it's come on instigated, have some plants there to instigate that. I don't know how,
Well, look, me personally, just to go back on, finish up on the scene there. But when the police rang me up later on that day when they saw the demonstration down there, I was getting phone calls saying the demonstration's on its way down to the police station. Boy, Ken, you're gonna come on the demonstration. So, so I said yes, I would join the demonstration. But I got a phone call from the police asking me to come. Ken, are you coming? Are you coming? You're pivotal to our plans. Plans? Hey, these are people that, you know what, when I'm in meeting, they never move things forward because they never want me to get anywhere. They always try to rubbish my plans, always try to block me at every avenue. See what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden I'm pivotal to their plans. Oh, that's news to me. You know what I mean? So anyway, I was going down there anyhow for the demonstration. So when I went out to the demonstration and I saw how serious that demonstration was, with over 1,000 people there, but it was peaceful. I didn't see. I saw the police had closed the police station. So I rang the police and said, look, I'm out here, but I'm not going to come in. But I will talk to the family to see if I can see what they want, to see if I can be that negotiator. To say to the family, what's your grievance? What do you want to do? Who would you want to do it to? The family made it clear to me that they want to put their grievance to the most senior person in the police station. Right. Okay. So I happen to know that this person here that I was on the phone to was the most senior person there at the time. It was a chief inspector. Okay. So I happen to have direct contact with him. So I've told him at the end of the day that they're prepared to speak to him, but he will have to come down and meet them. That is when he came out of his office and came downstairs, and then when he came downstairs, I told Simone and the other family members who he was, and that's the person there. But unfortunately, you had other people who were being quite hot-headed to say, you know, he wasn't senior enough. You know, but my thing was, to be perfectly honest, I saw some youngsters down there all ballied up, you know, hair and hats, and they've been ballied up all day long, just waiting for that spark. And I didn't really want to see Tottenham burn. Do you hear what I'm saying? Because my whole aspiration is about saving lives. Okay, so I'm not about proportioning blame, but saving lives. And I saw this situation could easily get out of hand, and people could easily get hurt in this situation. So I was just trying to get things done before sunset. Okay, before darkness set in, because that's when the vampire will come out in our way. Okay, yes, we need our blood too. Okay.
Okay. Okay, I'm just conscious of time here. I know you got another pressing engagement, right? What would be the final word you like to? We'd like to invite back here again, just to give a more recap. What would be the final word you'd like to leave with young people?
Well, what I want to say to our young people, you've made a statement. You've made a statement like nobody else could have made. You've got the moral high ground. But what we need to do now, I know you're looking for guidance. You're saying we're here, but we still feel like we're here, but we're not getting any further. We've got young people who's been rushed through the criminal justice system, and we know that anybody that do things at that sort of fast pace, that mistakes will be made. I'm trying to say to the young people, I want to be your surrogate father. If you happen to be one of those who got caught up and going through the court, you need to have people that not going to be damning you, but people who will be standing with you, okay, to help you through whatever you are going to face. And I'm saying that we need more elders to put themselves forward. We need the business community to come out and start putting some money where their mouth is, so that we can sustain this, because this can't be done for nothing. There's a cost implication on this. And in the meantime, we need to provide forums for the young people, even those who don't usually come out to these sort of meetings, to be able to come out and to be able to show what's to tell what they feel is the way forward. Because I'm not gonna put impose myself onto you and to your collective force. I want to hear what you've got to say. I've got my ideas, but my ideas will always be there. But I need to hear yours, so we can do some joined up thinking. And I'm saying to the young people, you're not alone, and we'll never damn our people. You hear what I'm saying? Regardless, because we have the same DNA. Trust me. Trust me.
Brother Ken, give thanks. We need to be back up here again. You know, right?
Okay, I will be. I'll be back. I'll be back.
Give thanks.
Okay.
Greetings, family. Welcome to Tony's Barbers, and we have Sister Altia in the hot seat. And earlier on, we heard from the great man, Brother Ken Hines, very passionate in terms of looking at what's happening in Tottenham, and as Ken getting more into it, you know, really looking at solutions, and as Ken knows, on the ground, you know, working with the community. Well, as you know, that ongoing subject, what's happening in Tottenham right now, and we have Sister Altia, who's one of the community activists, who's been on the ground running non-stop. I don't think she even slept. You know, earlier on she was on Ben TV giving her account of events was taking place. I know there's a very important meeting was taking place tonight. I want Alfred to speak about the purpose of that meeting, and also give a recap of the event. But first, Alfred, how you keep my sister?
Good afternoon, brother. You're very modest.
You're
very modest.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're not saying what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, Alfred, I wonder if you can let people know about the seriousness of the meeting was taking place tonight, and why are we having this meeting?
Tomorrow.
Sorry, my sister. Tomorrow.
He's very tired. He's very tired. You know that when things like this happen, and the first thing we have to do is to say we give our condolences to Mark Duggan's family, and also to the family of those other people who lost their loved ones during the riot, and also all those who lost their property, who have lost everything, and who've lost their jobs as a result of what's going on. When we say something like that, we're talking about devastation in different forms all around. And when we see a community like Tottenham, Haringey, this is not the first incident that is devastating this community. We were affected by the Broadwater Fund.
That's right.
And I think that Tottenham was largely overlooked with a lot of the regeneration and funds that were being spent. And just when maybe a little might have started trickling our way, the credit crunch came. And then they started doing all these different cuts of services, youth centers, etc., etc. Now, what we're looking at is, we don't condone violence. We're not going to be looking around and trying to say you should have done this or you should have done that. But there is a more serious argument here, right? And that is what has been done to the community, what has been done to the youths that led up to those things. Now, we can sit and discuss and have meeting after meeting. I personally went on a march on Saturday, just gone, a peace march from Gillette Square in Hackney to Tottenham Green, just down the road.
It's a long march, yeah.
It was a long march, but worth every step, because it showed that the community is mixed, white, black, Asians, and that we're not buying wholesale what the government is telling us, that they're trying to racialize these things. But after we've done our meetings and our this and our that, what next for Tottenham? What next for the youth? And that's why we're meeting, because we want to come up with practical solutions, okay? Maybe apprenticeships, we're talking about a defense committee, because these children cannot be criminalized into the future. But if we are saying they cannot, we have to find a way of preventing that. Okay? So that's what we want to meet to discuss practically what we can do, what we can set up, how we can approach the government, how we can approach the local authority, and even some of the larger businesses in the area.
Right.
Like maybe Spurs, you know, to say, these are the things that we're proposing to do, and so on. But our own community need to be self-sufficient, as you have said.
Yeah.
And we need to fund these things ourselves.
I mean, as we know, we're looking looking the way forward.
Yes.
And I think at this time now, we just have to get my focus in terms of moving forward. You know.
Yes.
I mean, what do you think? What was your? How would you express the way forward from your perspective in terms of moving from now?
Yeah, for me, I've always been quite a practical person. If something's broken, I've always wanted to know how to fix it. It's all right for us to sit and discuss why it broke and how many pieces it's broken into. But we're going to have to look at how to fix things, how to have reconciliation, and how to move forward. We cannot alienate people who are already alienated. We're talking about alienated, disenfranchised youths, but then the government is putting in policies that will further alienate them and further disenfranchise them. But it's for us to say to them, what you're doing is madness. Everyone knows that prison is a university for criminals. So why are you wholesale putting people in prison if it is not necessary? And when they come out, what will be there for them? These are the things that we have to consider. What will we have? Are we just going to meet them at the prison gate, as some people are talking about, and pat them on the back and say, oh dear, or are we going to say, come here, we have been trying and working on these things and trying to set up these things for you? Yes? So apprenticeships maybe? But this has to come from the community where they are coming out of. It can't be led by government. It has to be led by us. They've had their try and they've failed wholesale. So it's now for us as a self-sufficient community, as a community that's a serious body that the government will have to take seriously, knowing that you ignore them at your peril, and not because we're going to riot.
I mean, when we talk about community, we're talking about everybody.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah, okay. Just want to be clear, because some people might look at it slightly different. But this is a community issue here.
This is a mixed community.
And so forth. Yeah. I mean, in terms of you know, media practical step, what do you think we can do right now as a community? So people who might be listening right now are anxious to get involved. I mean, well, there's two questions I want to ask here, really.
Yes.
How can someone who's watching get involved immediately? And what do you think is the immediate step right now?
I would think right now, get involved. Do not sit on the sidelines.
Right.
Because if you sit on the sidelines, you may be interpreted A, as part of the problem, or B, as part of those who are making a worse problem for the youth. So do not sit on the sidelines. Get up and get involved. There are many meetings going along. So come to the meeting. We're having a meeting tomorrow at 22 Moorfield Road. It is an emergency meeting for the residents and supporters wherever you are. Okay? To come to the meeting at Moorfield Road behind Bruce Grove train station, the overhead train station. You cannot miss it. We will be discussing practical ways. So if you have ideas out there, bring them, because we have listening ears and we have a passionate heart, and we want together we can make a difference. If you sit at home or sit on the sidelines by yourself, you can't make a difference, because a chain, as they say, is as strong as its weakest link.
Right, right. I want to mention a little about the speakers and who will be speaking tonight.
Yes, tomorrow.
So Kim for tonight. Tomorrow.
He is so tired. You're right about tonight, because the youths are meeting.
Oh yes, yeah.
The youths are meeting.
Oh yeah.
So that's what you're talking. Yes, it's in your head.
Yeah.
I think they're meeting about 5:30, isn't it, at Bruce Grove?
Yeah.
And it's young people. So if you're young and you're watching, get involved. Not from any negative point of view, but get involved positively, because when you're in a building, there are so many ways to bring it down, more than if you're outside throwing stones at the window, you know? So you gotta be in it to influence it. And tomorrow, the speakers that we're looking at, we had the great Ken Hines here in your chair, and we also have somebody who is fighting hard for the community, Lee Jasper. And as you know, he's for Black Activists Rising Against the Cuts, short for Barak. Then we have Merlin Emmanuel, who is a nephew of Smiley Culture, and he is fronting the Justice for Smiley Culture campaign. We have asked, but cannot confirm, that we hope that a member or a close friend of the Duggan family would come along, because I think what is happening is that there will be a unit, a committee for all the deaths that have been happening in custody. You know, that the whole campaigns have to be coordinated, because for different reasons they have died. But one of the chain, the single chain in the reason that many of them have died is the color of their skin, and also poverty, because if they were rich people, they wouldn't have been shot so easily, or would have been falling on knives and falling off buildings so easily. You know,
absolutely right.
So those things are a common thread.
That's right.
And because these incidents have a common thread, they all need to join together, and that has been proposed and is going to happen. And you will hear more about that. That's another practicality. We're also talking about a justice campaign, but you have to come along to put your ideas in the pot, so that we can then put one voice forward.
Because you see, the thing is that we can always talk about what we should be doing. If you don't have the hands
Exactly.
to help,
Yes.
that's not going nowhere.
Exactly.
So, you know, like Ken said, and even you said that, as Ken said, you know, sometimes we're on an armchair,
Yes.
just looking in and say, you should be doing this, but I think the challenge will be get people involved.
Get out of your armchair.
Yeah, and get people-
Stop being an armchair critic.
You know?
Stop being an armchair footballer. Because, you know, in the armchair, as a footballer in the armchair, you don't get paid. As a critic in the armchair, you don't get to influence and to change things. But if you get up and come out, and we're not talking about any kind of meeting where there'll be negative people or negativity or nonsense being talked. We're talking about serious people, and we would like young, old, because all the generations have been affected. We are asking people from all communities to come out because all communities have been affected. And we all, let's face it, we all love where we live.
That's right.
We love the area.
So, sister, what will be the final word at this present time?
My final word is this, that not everyone has a choice. And when you leave people with very little or no hope, you are creating a tinderbox that will explode. And I think that that was created. And it's a shame that it had to come to this.
Yeah.
And it's shocking that it had to come to this. But let's not want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, because this is what the government is proposing. But as a community, black, white, Asian, we have to stand unified against them destroying our children's future. So please come out tomorrow evening at 7, 22 Moorfield Road, behind Bruce Grove overhead train station, and just be a part of this solution. No easy answers, Dougie, because the problems aren't easy.
That's right.
So the answers won't be
That's
easy.
right.
What we need is the willingness and the strength to go on in the long term.
Long term.
So it's not a short term matter.
Okay, so give thanks to Sister Altia for passing through Tony's barbershop, and this is where you get nothing but the truth, the absolute truth, and the whole truth from here, not from the media, because they're not interested to give the truth. In fact, they spread pure confusion. And as Marcus Garvey says, that, you know, it's all about organisation. We can solve our problem. I don't know if Garvey said that, but as you know, Garvey's one of the greatest organisers in his time. You know. We've not only himself but other people who committed to his vision. And it happens that tomorrow is the Honourable Marcus Garvey's birthday tomorrow, so I want to take the liberty of you know, honouring
that day.
That day there, and up to the great man Marcus Messiah Garvey. And I want to leave by saying that it's only through organisation we can solve our problems. Only through organisation we can solve our problems. Our power to our people. Give thanks.
Give thanks.